Hi, friends. So, this is your number 4 chop wood, carry water task, and it is twofold, part A, part B. Part A is, especially for those of us that are energetically sensitive, which is everybody, as I've mentioned, even if you don't think you have the sensitivity that maybe somebody else has, you do. It's part of our innate nature as people. For example, have you ever thought of somebody and then they text you or called you like within an hour or less, or usually immediately? Have you ever felt somebody looking at you? You felt eyes on you, and then you looked up to see someone was actually looking at you. How else would you know that except for like an energetic presence? So there's science that recognizes that we feel the electromagnetic field of somebody's heart that's in the same room as us. So I'm not going to get into that because I'm not a scientist, just an enthusiast and curious. And I like science. But so the first part is for those of us that are especially energetically sensitive, which is everybody, limit your media intake. And by that, I mean social media, I mean news, I mean anything propagandistic, anything that is trying to like create fear in you, especially. I saw an article headline because I don't read most of the news. I have like some of my reputable sources, or I get information the way I need to. But I saw an article that said 100 billion, it was 100 billion, but like 100,000 deaths expected in America. You realize that hasn't happened. That didn't happen. Like that headline was literally like that's just clickbait. Like it's just designed to create fear in you, to be like, oh my god, this could happen. And it's like, but it hasn't. We haven't gotten there. Like we have to deal with the moment we're in now. We can't be making up stories just to confuse people with fear. The reality is that this is a flu. Most people don't have, most Americans especially, don't have a lifestyle that is conducive to a strong immune system. And if we did, we would be handling this very differently. If the average American person was strong enough physically in a health standpoint, in like a health and wellness standpoint, we wouldn't have to shut everything down. Um, so yeah, most people do have an underlying health issue, which I think is unacceptable. But that's for another post. So the first half of this is limit your media intake, social media and otherwise. So whether that means taking a whole day off, or it means limiting it to an hour a day, like whatever, you have to find what's right for you. For me, what worked when I was taking my first long break was I was just logged out, and then I would go in when I needed. I limited my time. You can limit, like for Instagram, you can actually put a timer on your activity, so it notifies you when you've reached your hour limit or your half hour, or whatever you decide to put it at. So that's helpful. Then you just have to trust yourself to honor that limit and get off. But spend your time with real people, like the people that you're sharing space with, or FaceTime a real friend, like a person, like a real one. So limit the intake of what you're taking in terms of media. We need to have a healthy diet in all aspects. This includes what you're taking in mentally and energetically. So that's first half. Second half is create a gratitude practice. I'm a huge proponent. Anybody that knows me or has followed me for a little bit of time knows that I'm a huge proponent of gratitude and positive affirmations. Gratitude is one of the simplest tools to get in touch with that unconditional love frequency. It's the simplest tool. If I was to tell anybody to do anything, it would be to practice breathing, like proper breathing, and to do a gratitude practice. Like literally, you need nothing else. If you do those two things, you will start seeing shifts in your life in a very short amount of time. So especially if you're consistent and you make it a regular practice, but like anything. But so besides from the fact that gratitude is like, it's our way to find evidence of good in the world. You find what you look for. We have this filter in the brain that likes to confirm the beliefs we already have. So, and besides from that, our brain it has neuroplasty, which means it physically adjusts depending on our thought patterns. So if you have a well-worn thought pattern or a thought trail in your mind, your brain is efficient. It likes to take the path of least resistance. So it'll go down that default, that well-worn path. So let's say you have a habit of complaining, chronic complaining. That's your default trail. It doesn't mean that that's your reality, but because you think it all the time, it becomes a norm for you. And then so the filter in your brain, I think it's called a RAC, articulated something filter. I have to look it up. But because that filter is made of this default thinking, this default thought trail, you're literally just looking to reconfirm ways to complain. So that's basically the glasses through which you're looking through the world. So this is one of the reasons why I think the gratitude practice is huge, especially now in times of uncertainty. Like, there's always a million things to be grateful for, but it's important now to be reminded of that. So the simplest way to do this is you take a journal, a notebook, a piece of paper, or whatever. Handwritten is better, just because of the way the brain processes it. This is all science. This isn't spiritual woo-woo, but it nicely complements the spirituality and the energetic purposes behind this. So, piece of paper, handwrite in the first person present tense. I am grateful for blank. I am grateful for my house. I am grateful for my eyes to be able to see. I am grateful for my health. I am grateful for my car. I am grateful for the food I have, like whatever. There's a million things to be grateful for in every moment that passes. And so because we find what we look for, creating a practice of gratitude and also limiting the media that can contort our view of things, this two-part number 4, chop wood, carry water task will be very helpful. So we're coming through this, and it's just take care of yourself during this time, and these chop wood, carry water tasks will help you do that. So if you need more structure for the gratitude guide, I have my Launchpad to Light, which is basically what I call an intuitive wellness basic guide. And intuitive wellness to me is knowing how to take care of yourself mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically, and being able to act on it. And so just because we know something will be good for us, sometimes we have blocks or wounds or fears that keep us from being able to take the action. And so intuitive wellness is knowing what you need because you have that deep sense of trust and connection to self, and then being able to actually do the action. So both are important and make up total health, I think. So if you need the structure, my Launchpad to Light guide is available. I'll put a link here, and it's basically a 30-day guide based around gratitude and also reframing the mind. And it gives small tools and tips and techniques to do daily that are intuitive wellness tools and tips. So things that can help. Thank you, my friends. Thank you for listening. Thank you for participating. Continue to chop wood, carry water in this time. This is the time to be busy with the things that are important, the things that are healing. You know, you can fill this time with whatever you want. And so you choose what you make this. I hope you choose to make this something that is healing rather than the other. So be well, take care of yourself, and I will be with you soon.